The Galaxy S22 Ultra is literally changing fortunes for Samsung in India. Counterpoint research says that Samsung sold more Galaxy S22 Ultras than Apple sold iPhone 13 Pros and 13 Pro Maxes in March in our country. And anecdotally, I've seen more S22 Ultras in people's hands this year compared to S21 Ultra last year. And for what it is worth, I've been using the S22 Ultra as my primary device, and so has been Arun. So here it is, finally, my long-term review of the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra, where I'm going to be keeping it very practical and bringing out my usage experiences in this video as opposed to getting into the gory details like I usually do. And you know what? You will benefit a lot if you stay till the end of the video, because I'm going to be asking Arun on his specific usage experience with the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra as well. So without wasting any more time, if you don't know me yet, I'm Ershad. You're watching Trakin Tech English. Let's go. Now, first things first, the design of the phone is a head turner. Anybody who looks at it takes a second glance for sure. And the phone is also built very well with Corning Gorilla Glass Victus protection on the front and the back. So much so that I've dropped it on more than a couple of occasions, and I think Arun has too. And we have managed to keep it intact without it, breaking at all. But I will say this, I've not been using a screen protector with the phone, and it does, get those micro abrasions on the screen, but it's not too much to worry about. And one of the points that a lot of reviews raised, including myself, is that those individual camera rings, the area around it, would gather a lot of dust, but that didn't happen too often in the long run. And even if it did, it was very easy to wipe it off. By the way, we also got that green variant of the phone, which I was really excited to see, but in sort of an anti-climax, it was pretty meh. If you ask me, the best colors of the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra are the Phantom White and of course the burgundy that we've been using. And you know what's another great color? It's that red subscribe button down there. When you hit it, it'll turn grey. Even grey is a nice color. Do it. And maybe even hit the like button and comment below for the sake of the YouTube algorithm. But one cannot deny the fact that the Galaxy S22 Ultra is a big and heavy phone, and add curves on the inside, the curves on the outside, and you realize that it's not easy to hold and use as well. And the icing on the cake, not the good kind, is the fact that the frosted glass back on the rear is actually kind of slippery, and like I mentioned before, it does cause the phone to fall down a lot from your hands. Now, to negate that issue, I did initially buy a 500 rupee case from Amazon and used it, but then it added a lot of bulk and it took away from the look of the phone as well. So I decided to add a fabric skin, which does look good, but takes away from the original premium look and feel of the phone, considering that you cannot see any more of that burgundy. And in general, for people who know me and who have followed my work for a long time, know that I prefer rocking my phones naked, and this is not the ideal way to do it, but considering that this phone is big, unwieldy, and slippery, I have to use the skin with it. So yeah, this has to be my biggest gripe with the Galaxy S22 Ultra, is that the ergonomics are not the best, but then you start using the phone and realize that there's so much packed in it that all of it goes, in the background. On the other hand, including the S Pen within the body of the Galaxy S22 Ultra was a great move, and to have reduced the latency to 9 milliseconds is also a masterstroke, because I genuinely used, this S Pen more than I did with the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. It feels very close to pen on paper. And once you see the display of the S22 Ultra and compare it against any other AMOLED panel, everything else feels inadequate. I'm pretty certain that Samsung keeps the best batch of Super AMOLED panels that it produces for its best ultra premium flagship phones. What's even more appealing is that the degree of curvature on the edges of the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra's display is not too pronounced, and therefore, you don't face too many accidental touches either. Anyway, coming back to that gorgeous display, I've spent hours and hours scrolling through reels on Instagram and watching YouTube videos, and of course watching certain shows on Netflix in HDR as well, which is actually fantastic on this display because the peak brightness can touch 1700 nits. And the experience is further elevated by the dual stereo speaker setup, which sounds really loud, and with support for Dolby Atmos, it sounds really good too. But I must mention this, Xiaomi is the only Android brand out there that actually offers Dolby Vision support support on many of its premium phones, some mid-rangers, and even the Xiaomi Pad 5 as well. To be entirely honest, Dolby Vision is actually a far better, probably the best HDR video watching experience out there. Now, talking about multimedia experience, Samsung actually supports every single Bluetooth codec that's available. LDAC, SBC, AAC, aptX, aptX HD, and even it has its own very scalable codec too. So using any truly wireless earphones with the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra, it works like a charm. And not to mention, I've used external DACs too with the phone, and it works like a charm, absolutely no problem whatsoever. So if you're an audiophile, that will matter to you too. Another aspect of the phone that's great is the software experience, especially when it comes to daily usage and regular software updates. The Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra in my hand is running the May security patch and of course Android 12 based on One UI 4.1. Every time I came back to the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra after using a review phone, because I generally use my review phone as a primary phone, every single time I had an update waiting for me on this phone. Samsung has been really fast and quick in patching the phones, patching the problems on the phone, and of course it has also patched performance issues as well, which I will come to in a bit. What I like about One UI specifically is that it is feature rich, and Samsung has actually tuned it to be smooth and agile and nimble as well. Of course, it's not as fast and fluid as something like ColorOS or OxygenOS, but it's still pretty good these days. And of course, you also get Android 12's native theming engine as well, where the colors of the icons and system UI elements change according to the wallpaper that's been set. Plus, you can add Good Lock on top of One UI 4.1 to add more features, and it's probably one of Samsung's best, well-kept secrets out there. For example, using Good Lock, I actually made the icon sizes smaller to make use of all the real estate that's on offer and added more icons per row too. Plus, on top of that, I've also changed the way the multitasking carousel looks. But yes, I would have liked it if Samsung had integrated all of this by default, because I don't want to jump through hoops to make even simple small changes like adding third-party icon packs. By the way, another uniquely Samsung feature is DeX, and I'm pretty certain that a lot of people already know about it. Basically, with DeX, you can use your phone as a computer itself once you hook it up to any monitor with an HDMI cable. It works seamlessly for the most part, and it's extremely fluid too. But I didn't find it to be a full-fledged desktop experience because I couldn't find a way to actually run two instances of the same app at the same time. For example, I wanted two instances of Gallery running at the same time so I could check, comparison samples together, but that's not actually possible, or that's something that I couldn't find out. Regardless, to have a pocket computer in your hands is actually a godsend, because there was this one situation where my MacBook Pro stopped working and I had to quickly edit a document, and I quickly connected it to my monitor, and it was really, really helpful to actually sort of get access to that document and start editing it. Increasingly, what I feel is that Samsung is pushing the limits of Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 inside the phone compared to a lot of other phones out there. Which brings me to the performance, and that's been sort of a mixed bag really. Firstly, we were all so elated that Samsung is finally launching a premium flagship phone series in India with the latest and greatest Qualcomm chip, only to be undone by the problems with its very own foundry process. As far as the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 inside the Galaxy S22 Ultra goes, it's not the most powerful Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, nor the best tuned one either. It throttles performance after long gaming sessions and can get hot too. But it's still better than what it was at launch after, users in South Korea, Samsung's home ground, raised a stinker about Samsung's aggressive battery management with its game optimization or GOS service. There was an update to actually fix it, and in fact, after the update, I noticed that the Antutu score was much higher and the performance was actually better too. And interestingly, I got slightly better battery life as well. I got about 5.5 hours of screen on time as opposed to, the 5 hours that I was clocking initially with the phone. While that's good enough, it's still not as good as the iPhone 13 Pro or the 13 Pro Max, two phones that I've been using extensively alongside the Galaxy S22 Ultra as well. In fact, other Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 phones like the Vivo X80 Pro and the Motorola Edge 30 Pro are tuned better to offer better battery life than the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. And another problem with the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra is that the 5000 mAh battery supports fast charging speeds of only up to 45 watts, where other brands have gone up to 120, 150 watts as well. Now, 45 watt charging speeds are also not that much faster than the 25 watt basic charging speeds. With the 45 watt charger, you can charge the phone in about an hour, and with the 25 watt charger, you can charge it in about an hour and 10 minutes. That 8-10 minutes of difference is not really going to make a huge difference. Having said that, the one area where the phone has actually nailed it is in being a mobile phone. It's very good with 4G network performance. 4G carrier aggregation performance is fantastic. The call quality through the earpiece is crystal clear. It's one of the best out there. Wi-Fi performance was really good too, with support of course for Wi-Fi 6E as well. And I also managed to use this with 5G in Dubai and it worked really well too. Now coming to the cameras, and I genuinely feel that Samsung has worked a lot to improve the kind of pictures that you get from the Galaxy S22 Ultra compared to the Galaxy S21 Ultra last year. But there's one major issue, and that is that Galaxy S22 Ultra's shooters are slow to shoot compared to other flagship phones. On many occasions, when you're shooting action shots, especially like moving pets or people moving around, you end up with blurry subjects. But when it manages to lock focus and take a picture, you sometimes get some stunning detailed shots and great dynamic range performance too. In fact, with multiple patch updates, that Samsung has pushed out, it has also improved that overexposure issue that was present initially in the shots that I was taking. So the dynamic range performance has definitely become much better. Having said that, I will definitely say this, the color performance is not as good or not as natural as the iPhone 13 Pro and the 13 Pro Max. Portrait shots look fantastic, the ultra-wide shots look very crisp too, and the ultra-wide shot also doubles up as the macro camera when you go close to a subject. Very similar to what the iPhone 13 Pro Max does, and the kind of pictures that you can get with it are really good. But my most favorite camera in the stack is the 3x telephoto, because the 10 megapixel camera has optical image stabilization, face detection autofocus, a nice big sensor, and a nice f/2.4 focal length too. I got such creamy, natural bokeh in certain shots that it really looks like it was captured using a DSLR. And if you want, you can stretch even further with a 10x optical zoom camera and add more digital zoom on top of it as well. Up to about 30x, the images look usable. But I did notice a weird bloom effect in the 10x shots. Low light performance has largely improved too, but you have to wait a bit for the night mode capture to happen. But what has definitely become better is the video recording quality compared to the S21 Ultra. Especially at night, you get some fantastic quality footage, and Samsung's stabilization and sound recording is incredible too. Now, while the iPhone 13 Pro Max has a slight edge when it comes to video recording, the S22 Ultra does come close. Very close. Essentially, I enjoyed shooting with the S22 Ultra's cameras, but didn't use it as often as I would have expected myself to, because it was slightly slow to shoot. And you know what? By the way, I've forgotten to say this, is that all the cameras in the stack can actually shoot at 4K 60fps video recording. In fact, I just remembered that I have to speak to Arun, so let's just do a selfie video at 4K 60fps using the phone and go talk to him. Hopefully Arun is in his cabin. Looks like he is, but he's busy. I have to record you.
Oh, okay.
So Arun is here, and I'm going to take his opinion on the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. Of course, short on the S22 Ultra.
Yeah.
So Arun, you've been using the phone as well.
Okay. You have put me on the spot, huh?
I love doing this. You love doing this. I love doing this as well.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
So, what did you think about your usage?
Okay, it's very slippery.
Yeah, that's true.
It's very slippery, but
how many times have you dropped it?
4 times. 4 times in 3 months, and that too from a proper height. Kuch hua nahi. That was. But what I have to say is cameras. I was surprised with the camera, especially telephoto. Boss. I mean, I was not expecting it to be so good, but it was really nice. So that is something that I have to say that because performance and everything else, I'm not going to talk about much, but camera was definitely very good. And updates. There have been regular updates. I'm so surprised with that. Samsung is continuously, sending us updates, and it is improving. I think other brands should look at that as well.
That is seriously. And across its different phones and phone price ranges as well.
Yes.
So that was Arun's take on it. So let's go down. So that was Arun's take, and of course we matched in our opinion primarily because we've had shared experiences and have been sharing notes while using the phone as well. But now you must be wondering, but Ershad, you mentioned that this phone doesn't have the best performance or the best battery life, and yet you think this is the best Android phone out there. Now, that's a very Very valid point. But you must understand that this phone is the sum of its parts and some more with the extra features that are on offer, making it a truly premium luxury Android phone experience. I mean, at this price point, you can either go for the S22 Ultra or one of the folding phones, or you pick the iPhone 13 Pro Max or, of course, the iPhone 13 Pro. Now, while the iPhone audience will swear by the 13 Pro Max, we must not forget that India is a predominantly Android market, and users like myself have been waiting for a truly premium luxury flagship experience. And after a point of using the iPhone, it does get boring, doesn't it? And that's where the S22 Ultra steps in with all the extra features that are on offer, especially with the fact that you get more zoom range, you get S Pen within the body itself, and support for something like DeX. These are genuinely great value adds. But what I want Samsung to do in the next iteration of its phone is ensure that the performance is the best too. Hopefully Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 will be on TSMC's process and it will be far more efficient as well. Until then, I'm going to be using the iPhone 13 Pro Max for all my Apex Legends sessions. So what do you guys think of our long-term review of the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra? Do let me know in the comment section below. Until the next video, this is Ershad signing off. Keep tracking and stay safe.